All right, welcome everybody to the first episode of Warrior content that the Dodo Roundtable is going to be putting out. I am Yoshi. I do not have either of my co-hosts with me here, so it's just me for today. But on today's episode, I do have Blackup, Daddy Odin, and GrayBush, all from Warrior. So next episode, if anybody would like to hop in, just shoot me a little DM or at me in Warrior Chat. Either way works. But for today, I just have a couple questions for you guys, just kind of gauge how Warrior division is going, and then just some overall, just random Dota questions to gauge your guys' mind a little bit. But first things first, I just want to know how your teams were formed. As far as I know, Blackup and Odin, you guys are actually on the same team. So if either of you or both of you want to give your input on, how you were recruited or how that team came together, go for it. Um,
Yeah,
so
I think I can field the question given I recruited back Blackup onto the team.
okay.
So I finished my season in Kong. It was I wouldn't say it was a dissatisfactory finish. It was fun. Playing with Marshall and Light Surgeon. So
Mhm.
it was a fun season. We made playoff, and then afterwards, I was like, you know what? Kong is just a little too much for me. Like I'm not trying to like practice too hard,
Yeah.
learn new things, look at my own games and try to get better. I just want to play with friends. And I heard Purple is not playing next season, so I messaged Ed and I was like, "Hey Ed, I heard there's no R&B next season. I know you like to play, do you want to field a team?" And he was like, yeah, it looks like it's only me or Ed Orion were the only two members staying back from R&B. And he said, we would love to play with you. And we three initially made a team. And we were looking for a mid and a pause five. Because I said I don't want to play mid really, unless you force me to. I would like to play carry, and I think someone posted a post looking for a mid next season, and Steve or Blackup posted I'm available, and I instantly messaged him. I was like, "You're mine. We're going to Warrior," and he instantly deleted his post, and I brought him on the team, and then we had Lost Person as our pause five initially, and we played some scrims, and Lost Person got poached by Ness, who's in Warrior as well, and Orion got poached by Chev
Mhm.
into Conqueror. So we needed two supports again, and thankfully I found Dragoness. I played against her in one of the winter minis, and I was really impressed um, by her like lane things and things like that. And I reached out a couple of people who are associated with her, and a lot of people said good things. And I asked her, and she said she wanted to play. And Ed brought the other one, who was J-Bay. I heard his name before. He played, I think, Conqueror, or sorry, not
Mhm.
Conqueror, Challenger. And Ed said he was a good four, and we brought him in, and everything just clicked. And I left on my vacation, and these guys just played for the first 4 weeks with stand-ins, a different stand-in from by teams, and that's how the team was made.
All right. All right. Blackup, do you have any input on that? How you feel about the team so far, or how it was formed?
I was applying for it was below Warrior. Is that Explorer?
No,
No.
Challenger.
Challenger.
Yeah,
Challenger,
Challenger.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
it
I
was
don't
a
I don't
Challenger
know.
team. Yeah.
That might have been a bit too much, but yeah, Odin as soon as he saw the post, scooped me up, and then he left for like 5 months, never to be seen again.
Imagine
It was only
winning.
a month.
Imagine winning Conquer and immediately just applying to Challenger Division. What a
I
guy.
thought that'd be funny.
What an absolute Chad. Holy. All right, Gray Bush. What about you? How about your team?
Uh, so I wasn't even really planning on playing this season. I was actually going to take it off, and then I'm friends with a bunch of the guys from the Nameless crew.
Okay.
We played like 5 or 6 seasons ago, I think. And they just won Challenger League, I believe, and they were looking for someone to sub in for their position 5 because basically work said, "Hey, you're going to travel and you're going to deal with it." And so I subbed for him for a couple weeks, and then they're like, "Yeah, so here's the deal. Like his work told him you're going to live on the road, so do you just want to play for us the rest of the season?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I guess I will." But yeah, that's basically how it came about. Bunch of pretty good guys, though. I mean, it's kind of a challenge moving up from challenger for them to warrior, like just completely different set of skills.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Okay. Okay. So moving on from how the teams were formed, how do you guys feel that your team is doing so far? Are you feeling that you guys are doing better than expected, worse than expected? Or there's some kinks that you've had to get out? Are you guys clicking pretty well? How are you guys overall feeling? Black, we'll start with you this time. How do you feel that your team is doing?
We're doing pretty good. We've only had one series that has had the 5 original members of R&B in it. I think 4 weeks we've had subs. So we
Yeah,
haven't
pretty
actually
good.
had a lot of full team experience, and I don't think anyone's even been pubbing very much. I've only played a few pubs this season, but we
Okay.
seem to be doing very well. We have a lot of good team synergy. Everyone seems to be very good at the roles that they're in right now, and I think our games are going pretty good. Honestly, no complaints.
Okay. Odin, you being the one that was, on vacation, forcing your team to get those stand-ins, how do you feel that they've been doing without you having been there? Do you feel you're weighing them down now that you're back? Did they do better without you, worse without you? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm definitely getting bullied on my team right now.
I mean, that's understandable. You were
Uh,
gone like 4 weeks.
that's true. That's true. If you're in losing state, it's usually heavily put on me. I bear the burden of the blame, and all my kills are being also stolen as my punishment currently by my supports. But yeah, I think initially at the start of the season, I was a little worried. Even starting the season, I like told Ed like, hey, look, uh, I will be gone for the first 3 weeks. So even if we lose the first 3 weeks, once I come back, we will get all the wins needed to make playoffs. So I'm not too worried.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was very impressed. I helped Ed a little bit with scouting and drafting kind of things while I was on vacation. And yeah, they found different people, some from Challenger, some from Conqueror, some from Warrior to stand in for them. And yeah, the games were quite good. And I think the funniest part is all the teams that they played the weeks I was gone are the teams I thought were the teams I need to watch out and play off. So now that I'm back, the only team that I I, I think has a really good chance of showing up in grand finals is Tex Goes Green because I feel like they're a really good team. And that's the only team I got to play against. And after that, I think all the other teams that are there are not none of the ones I am too concerned about. I did miss playing Ness's team, which is kind of unfortunate, but yeah. So that we'll probably try to look for scrims now that I'm back, and I think Ed is also back from a small trip. But it's all it all comes down to vibe. Like Blacko was saying, our communication is on point. Usually the only one who speaks in our comms is Ed. Everyone is dead quiet, but we all do exactly the same thing.
Hmm.
So I think it's a rare thing to find in teammates that thing. I guess gut feeling you can call it. But yeah, I have good hopes for us.
Okay, so you guys just naturally clicked. I mean, that's always a good start to a team. It's just players being able to click together without needing, much pub time or scrim time. So that
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
pretty good to hear.
Yeah. I
Great.
think we scrim once Wednesdays, and that's it. But yeah, I
Only
think me
one
and JB are
scrim.
the only people who are playing Dota on a normal basis. No one else is playing.
Honestly, I'm not even
Oh.
playing much Dota right now either. So, GrayBush, you had said that you were, subbing in, and now you're like the permanent replacement. So how do you feel that your team is doing. You said that Nameless had come up from Challenger. Do you guys think you're doing better than, expected? Are you doing worse than expected? Probably on par. What are your thoughts with Nameless?
Oh, I mean, a team that they did. I mean, clearly they did well in Challenger. You figure a team that won Challenger should probably be going roughly 500, maybe a little bit better in Warrior. We've dropped 2 series so far, so I feel like we're doing okay. There's we're running into issues of like a little bit of like double drafting ourselves, kind of picking two heroes in different roles that do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and communication stuff. Some of these guys they've played together for a long time and they have like their idea of how they want to play. And with me being the sub, I'm actually like the outsider stepping in and I'm trying to push them to step up their Dota because I feel like there's a good group of players fundamentally. Like mechanically, they're all a great group of players. I just feel like our biggest holdups are usually like decision making and like itemization. Um, which are like the easiest things to I think to correct through
Mm-hmm.
time. What I think is going to happen is I think as we're rolling into playoffs, I don't know if we're going to have enough time to get all of that 100% worked out. But I mean, honestly, if this team makes it to playoffs, I mean, I'd say it's a success.
I mean, I'd have to agree, yeah. That any team moving up in a division, making its playoffs is definitely figuring out their place and like they do actually belong in that new division. So I would definitely have to agree with that. Um, Off of that, are there any teams that are surprising you guys? Whether that's in a good way or a bad way, like any teams you thought at the beginning of the season, like, man, this team looks like a powerhouse, and now, they're like one of the 3-win teams, or vice versa. Maybe you thought Tech's team looked really bad, and now they're doing fantastic. Anything like that from any of you?
We did a scrim against, I think it was Wet Bread. They have two
Mm.
people. I can't remember their names, like Schmoobity or something.
Yeah,
They have
that's
really
that
weird
bread. Yeah,
names.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Schmobama, Schmoobity, Daddy
yeah,
Carl. Yeah.
two of them are almost identical. But yeah, they did very good. We scrimmed them. I don't know if we've actually played them in the season, but we went
No, we haven't
1-1 in the
played yet.
scrim, and I was pretty impressed by them.
Are they? They're one of the 3 wins, right?
Yeah, they're at the bottom.
I believe so,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
But I would not count them out at all.
Okay. Anybody else with a surprising opinion or take?
I
I
think.
always think that I
Yeah,
think Dubu's always got good teams. So him being on the 3-win side of things is kind of strange to me because I always feel like he's like a fairly competent captain. And he's been around forever in AD2L. Like him being at the lower end is just not something I would expect coming into the season.
he does have a lot of supports on the team. I
Yeah.
think I felt like it was a friends tag when I looked at it. I thought it was like Dewey and his friends playing kind of thing, where they were just having fun. Yeah, I think for me, like at the start of the season, um, technically, like I saw Nameless and I was like, oh, these guys are like challenger team, and we scrimmed them. This was a pre GrayBush stack, and we had a quite an easy time. Um, and this was with the Orion and Lost Person as well, so it's not even the original stack or right the current stack. And it felt quite easy playing them. Like all their lanes, it felt like weak and they were making mistakes. But I'm quite impressed to see them. Like I watched a couple of their games, and I definitely think they're like top 4 potential in Warrior right now. And the team that I'm like surprised, and I kind of saw some of their games, like their perspective, and now I know why. But Nanner Grippers was a team I thought will not be in the middle of the pack, but they seem to be having quite some issues with their roster. I felt like there's a lot of big name people on that team.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think that roster is gonna undergo some changes.
Yeah, it
I,
looks like Vivian is stepping out, and
yeah,
they're getting a new 3. Yeah,
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see whether that's, a benefit to them or a detriment. But only time will
Yeah.
tell with that one. Going off of teams, are there any particular players on any of the teams that are surprising you, whether that's in a good or bad way? Like a player you hadn't heard of that's like really stepping up to the plate, kind of carrying their team a little bit, or players that are coming down from conk and might be, shitting the bed a little bit.
I mean, dude, J-Bay just plays so weird of Dota. When we played them, it just like he almost throws the timing in your team's head off with some of the like strange like he like makes really good rotations and he does some like really odd things from the floor that are like impactful throughout the game and it just like it throws your timing off and it like throws your comms off a little bit. So I know he moved down, but like some of the impact stuff he's done has been surprising to me. At least when we played him.
So going
I
off of
don't.
that, is that like anything that J-Bay like talks through with either of you two, like in the comms, or is he just
Absolutely not.
he just does it?
No.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like this week we didn't have Ed and we had a stand-in, and I'm pretty sure there's windows of time in our comms where there was absolutely nothing said except like mouse clicks and here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and we were doing like smoke gangs, rotations, and taking objectives, and no one said a single word.
Jeez. It
But yeah,
reminds me
it's
of
fine.
like when TI would do like the hot mics and all you would hear is all of them clicking the keyboards and then just one person would laugh and that's like the end of the hot mic and it's like that gave us nothing.
Yes, sometimes I just feel like there's too much void, and I just call like timings out. At least that game I did, where we're almost having like Blink on Mars, get ready to be more aggressive and things like that. But yeah, it was quite game. But yeah, Ed is our resident talker, and we make fun of him when he says something wrong. But yeah, yeah, JB does JB things. He just shows up in lane sometime. I don't even expect it. I don't know if he actually ganks for Blackup or secures rune, but yeah.
I don't think what he does would be as effective if he communicated it. To be honest, because like he does stuff like he'll like be standing between like the T2 and the T3, like cutting a wave at like 22 minutes in the game, like just randomly, and like I think your team would be at a detriment if he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go do some weird shit. You guys just keep farming or whatever. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that's such a bad thing.
That's
I
just
mean,
pause force.
I'd say if it's working, might as well keep doing it.
Right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Um, so kind of diving more into players, Odin and Blackup, you both have come from Conqueror. Are there any like noticeable differences that you guys have noticed between the two divisions?
None. Conqueror
None.
players are dogs. They run
Okay.
the exact
Yeah,
same as Warrior.
Blackup's out here losing lane actually to Warrior players.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. So would you
he,
say
he
that the Warrior mids are actually better than the Conqueror mids?
I'd say yeah.
Wow. Wow, you heard it here first, folks. I'm clipping it and putting it in Conch chat. Black Ops about to get added like 50 times.
Bring it.
Yeah, I
um,
think from what I noticed, like I did kind of play carry in Conquer before a
mhm,
couple of times, and I think the biggest thing I do notice is there's a little bit more breathing room, at least farm wise, or maybe my team is making that space for me, and I'm not even realizing it because they're crushing it on the other side.
mhm.
But it all comes down to how much damage can you put and how sustainable you are, and if you mess that up, it feels like uphill battle in the games. At least that's what I feel like. So itemization is seems to be very key. And you can get away with bad matchups and things like that as long as you itemize properly, is what I feel.
I feel like most of the time, until you hit like champion or heroic, you can almost get away with doing comfort picks as long as you are itemizing properly on those comfort picks. Um, Because you see it most of the time where people are still picking like off meta stuff and they end up stomping on it because they do itemize properly and they're also just, like Grandmaster level 30 on the hero. So they know like all the ins and out and all the matchups and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I'm convincing Ed to let me play carry Invoker and carry Age of Prophet, but he's rejecting my idea every time.
okay, carry
Uh,
profit would be fire. I'm not entirely sure about the Invoker.
it's such a good one. You go Exort Lex and you just farm really fast with Mailstar.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, everybody's playing Invoker right click right now, anyhow. So I mean,
Well, this
why
is
not
true.
push it?
This is true, yeah.
One day, one day.
I mean, if you think it's going to be a free win, I mean, might as well.
I don't think it
Might as well
might be
try
a
it
free
for
bet.
one game. I
I
mean, you
but
guys basically have playoffs secured at 9 wins, so I mean, you could try it
that's
a
true.
game.
But I don't know what Blackup did while I was in vacation, but Invoker is getting first phase banned against us every series.
But
So I doubt that hero is coming down any farther.
I don't think it made it past first phase in any of
No,
our series.
it
Just
keeps
my
getting
first most
yeah.
played.
Interesting. Blackup Invoker, huh? Got
Good
it.
hero.
Good hero. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Very good hero. Speaking of good heroes, though, we're gonna shift away from the AD2L scene to finish off the last of this episode. So I just want to talk about the current meta. As you know, we've been kind of in this meta for the past couple months now with some letter patches, and like one or two, not even probably just one number patch really. Um, so how do you guys feel about the current meta? And then is there any specific changes you're hoping to see with the next letter and or number patch? GrayBush, we haven't heard from you for a little bit, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and start us off with that.
Yeah, how I feel right now is they can just like nuke Luna and SF into the ground, and we could just not see them for like I don't know another 2 patches or something, and call it good. Um, these like turret like mega farm heroes that like don't want to interact in the game until like 15 or 20 or even later minutes, and they like come out and they're just like, okay, now we're gonna take all your towers and like good luck fighting into me, or like I don't know. It's just it's getting a little stale at this point. And yeah.
What would you like to see it shift to?
Um, I mean, me personally, I feel like there's a little bit too much reward for killing players who are on kill streaks. Um, like I wish they would tone down how much gold you get per kill, and then also on that same note, tone down how much gold you get for shutting down someone's kill streak. Um, I feel like everybody's like so accelerated in gold. Like you can just like you can fight in lane and then you can bugger off for a little bit and go farm and farm. And then if someone's popping off on the enemy team, if you can just lock them down for one fight, it's like almost half an item for a core if you can kill them. And that's kind of annoying. And like I said, I think these heroes that just like these turrets that like you have to address getting on top of them or they're a major issue. Like bring back melee carries, melee mids, make melee great again essentially.
Bring back Phantom Lancer, man. Bring back
Yeah,
Phantom Lancer.
not
For sure.
Naga carry, CK. I mean CK was kind of meta for a while, but
I say he
bring
fell
you
off as
know,
well, yeah.
yeah. Yep, that's how I feel at least right now.
Okay, Blackup as the resident mid player here. How do you feel about the meta in regards to the mid lane?
I feel like right now, Quap is unbelievably broken unless
Mm.
Puck is in the pool, and then Puck beats Quap,
Okay,
and then none of the other heroes matter. It's all about those two.
okay.
So
Honestly, I can
it's
understand
kind of
that, yeah.
fun. I like those heroes, but like I don't know. It seems like there's not a whole lot of melee going on right now because there's so much cheese that you can do against them.
So, do you also want to see a shift back to melee?
Yeah, I would say having it as an option is good. The one thing I like about this meta is there isn't a whole lot of crap in it, like AM or I don't know,
Nature's
BL,
Prophet,
Naga,
Weaver.
you know, those types of heroes. It's very, I don't know, it's very standard Dota right now, which isn't
Okay.
all bad.
So, if you could have one hero shift back into the meta, what hero would you want it to be?
I think it would have to be Omni mid. I miss that.
Omni mid.
It was so good for a brief window of time, and then
What
they
a
got rid of it.
shout. Omni mid. I do remember that though. It existed for like a couple days and then it was just gone.
Yeah, Thompson played it
Dang.
once, and then it got letter patched.
Jeez. Omni mid. What a shout. Okay. I can respect that. All right, Odin, your turn.
Okay. So my current impression of the patch right now, or the meta right now, is it's a very two-item timing kind of patch where that's why these like heroes like Dusa, Luna, Shadow Fiend are so
EA.
good,
Yeah.
because you need those two items like Manta Butterfly, or like Dragonlance Manta Butterfly, or that kind of combination, or Manta Daedalus or something, for them to essentially hit suddenly a max, and
Mm-hmm.
then it just goes. And whoever gets to that point earlier is dictating essentially who's going to win. I personally like tempo. I'm not huge into like sit and farm for 30 minutes and hey, we want to fight, the game ended kind of thing. It's kind of boring for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could change, or if the patch at least I'm hoping for is essentially maybe make the not the map small, but maybe remove one or two camps, neutral camps, so that the tempo increases, uh, in a way. Yeah,
So what I'm hearing is Odin just wants the death ball meta to come back, is what I'm hearing.
100%. I am a huge fan of that ball meta. I just played a game last night at 1:30 or 2 in the morning, picked Shadow Fiend, and I told my pause 4 to pick Nature Prophet, and we ended the game at 20 minutes. I'm like, yes, I can go to bed. I
Jeez.
don't want to play this game too much. But yeah, I do like high tempo games. I feel like it's much more fun to play fast tempo. So it comes down to how teams move on the map, and it's fun at the start.
Okay. All right. Um, so kind of a meta question, but not entirely. The final question I want to ask each of you is what is one hero change that you wish you could return back to? So this is going as far back as you want, but what is one hero change that you wish you could go back to? GrayBush, we're going to start with you.
I every time I think about a hero that got changed, like my instinct is just to say like Axe Ags, where your counter helix would be procced off of right clicks.
Uh-huh.
That was so much fun because it was like, okay, if you can get to this timing where you can get blink Ags on Axe, like you can that was Axe carry days. Like it was
Yeah.
fun, and you'd get Manta, and your Manta illusions would proc counter helix, and like I thought it was a lot of fun. Like they could nerf the numbers down a little bit, or even like make it like an innate and be like, your counter helix does 30% damage, but every 5 clicks it procs a counter helix.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was really fun, and it was like another interactive way to play a hero that can be kind of like right now it's like, okay, you have to get blade mail, blink, BKB, blah blah blah, and it's like another way to play the hero, and I think it's a fun hero that brings some excitement to the game sometimes.
Okay, I mean, as an Axe player myself, I do remember those days and they were very fun. So I can respect that as your choice to go back to. Um, Odin, what about you? What's one hero change you really wish you could just return back to, even just for one match?
Okay, so this is the hero I've been preaching for a long time since they changed him.
Just gonna say
I
Prophet, isn't
think. Oh, no, no, Prophet is perfect. Don't change him. I'll leave him like that. It is Ricky. I want Dart
Ricky.
back.
Oh
That Dart,
no,
just
dude.
okay. Hear me out. You
Oh,
can remove maybe his invisibility and give it as a facet. So instead of going invis, you have this dart, and you can chuck it at people. That dart was a
dude, the
blessing.
dart was
That
so annoying. You'd get darted in your jungle and then meme hammered, and you're just dead. It
that
was the
dart was the whole
stupidest
reason
thing ever.
I went from mid to a pause 4 player because I wanted to dart people and annoy them out of the mind.
Dude, dart was
But yeah,
actually.
if I
And
got the opportunity to play, it's Ricky definitely with the dart facet.
I
it
think
was annoying. I'm glad it's gone.
I think I actually just lost like a little bit of respect for you. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's fair.
Dude, dart days were actually so dark. Like, I hated playing carry those days, cause
That's
you
true.
couldn't jungle. If Riki was missing off the map, you were immediately going to a tower. Like you weren't risking it, cause he would literally just rush a meme hammer, and have his dart, and you were just dead. You were just dead. Um, all right, Blackup. So not going back to mid omni,
Oh,
cause we already know that was gonna be your answer. I want a different
it was.
answer.
Okay. So back in Dota All Stars, Pudge got 1 strength every time he killed a creep. They should bring that back.
I
What?
remember.
I
No,
actually didn't
I
even know
remember
this.
that. I remember
Yep.
that.
That was the same patch that Sand King's stun had no cooldown or mana cost for some reason.
Oh my gosh, when
I
Pudge
think I
got
was too
one
young for
strength.
this.
It was actually ridiculous, dude. Oh my gosh. There's no way. See, mine is actually good because I've talked about this with a lot of people. I want to go back to the days of the old proximity mine on techies where you could stack them,
mm,
because watching an enemy support walk into your jungle to place a ward and just immediately implode was a great feeling. And then they would come back to do it again, but you've moved the mines like farther up, so then they just die again because they're placing the wards in the spot where you thought they were. Those are great times. Just stacking
A-
mines on top of each other and just watching the support just walk into them. It's a great feeling.
And this is the man who said he lost respect for me for Ricky. He's asking
Dude,
for
okay,
techies back.
okay. Techie's proximity mines is a lot more respectable than freaking sleeping dart, dude. I will stand on that. I will put a poll out after this asking what people would rather have back. Stacking proximity mines or Riki sleep dart, and I guarantee you proximity mines is gonna win.
Fair, fair.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Stacking proximity mines is that's some that was some like troll level stuff
I
there.
mean, if you're a support player, you definitely hated it. You hated the proximity mine stacking. Especially when you could just place the freaking sign down and they'd be invisible no matter what.
Oh my god, especially with this map where you can just keep proximity mines in the
On the gate?
outposts. Yeah,
Oh
the
my
gates.
gosh, that'd be disgusting. Oh, now I really want it to come back. That'd be so good. Just on the gate, the carry comes through, it just explodes.
Yeah, maybe in the
Oh,
future they'll all come as facets, and that's probably why they wanted to do
oh,
facets.
dude. That'd actually be I'd be playing techies so fast. But Sleeping Dark can stay away. Sleeping Dark can. No. That doesn't need to come back.
Don't worry, I send an email once a year to
Sent
Gabe to
an
bring it back.
email. I feel like
With a
Blackup's
dollar
done the same
donation.
about Mid Omni Night. As soon as they put out the letter patch, he's immediately emailing Valve like, I think you made a mistake with this most recent letter patch. Omni Mid is supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
bring back the mid camp too. Come on.
Honestly, yeah, mid camp should come back. I do agree with that. And I'm not
I
even
do
a
agree
mid
with that,
player.
yeah.
The camp does need to come back.
With the addition of Twin Gates, Techies would be a lot of fun if he still had that level 25 talent where he had movement speed on his
Oh,
mine.
they could move, dude.
They could go through the gate, and then it's like you can do some like crazy bait plays where you're acting like your team's going through the gate,
The
and it's really
gate, and
just
it's
a
just
mine.
a. I mean, I do that with my courier and stuff.
Yeah,
Or even if
I wonder if bombs can move through. Because you need to have mana to move, and bombs don't have
oh,
mana.
bombs don't have mana. That's true.
but you can do it with couriers who don't have mana.
Oh, I thought couriers had mana.
No, I think couriers just have health.
Oh,
They might have
because I know
mana.
you
I don't
can't
think
send
so.
illusions anymore.
You can do it with like some summons that don't have
Hmm.
mana either. Like you could do it with boars, and I think with
I see.
warlock golem and stuff like that. I don't think they have mana, so.
Interesting. All right. Well, gentlemen, that is all the questions I actually have for you this fine evening. I do appreciate each of you coming out. Um, and if, this gets, a lot of attention and some likes, maybe we'll be back for, well, I'll be back for a second episode. You guys probably won't unless it's like a playoff edition episode, which we more than likely could do if you guys want. Do a returning episode, talk about playoffs and stuff like that. Um, but until then, it was a pleasure having each of you on the show, and I wish you all luck with the rest of your season if we don't see each other again.
Yeah, thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Yoshi.
Thanks for doing this.
It's
Yeah,
good to
appreciate
finally
it.
have
Bring
some
back
warrior
War Tent.
content. Yeah, exactly.